Okay, let's jump in. We're tackling a very specific home entertainment problem today.
Hmm.
One that I think almost everyone has run into. You've got the big game on the DVR in the living room.
But you want to be on the patio.
Exactly. And you don't want to buy a whole second cable box, and you definitely don't want to keep running inside just to, pause it.
It's that classic distance versus control problem.
Yeah.
And today we're looking at a piece of hardware that claims to solve it for, what, about 25 bucks?
The WolfPack 1x2 HDMI splitter with remote IR. I'm looking at the product manuals and the specs right here with you.
Yeah, so our mission for this deep dive is to figure out if this little box is a genuine smart home solution, or if it's just another cheap dongle.
Because the term splitter alone makes me a little skeptical. Usually when you split a digital signal, you just have the strength.
Right, you get digital snow or just a black screen. If you were just using a cheap Y cable, you'd hit that digital cliff almost instantly.
But the WolfPack specs, they're highlighting that this is an active device. It's doing something called reclocking and equalizing.
Exactly, and that's the key.
So let's unpack that. It's essentially acting as a repeater. It takes a dying signal from a long cable run and rebuilt it.
That's a great way to put it. It regenerates the data structure, it cleans it up, and boosts it back out. That's what allows for the distance.
And the specs on that are, well, pretty impressive for this price point. It says it supports input cables up to 15 meters.
And output cables up to 25 meters.
So that's over 130 feet of total travel. But there's a little caveat here in the fine print.
Say it too.
You have to use AWG 26 standard cables to get that kind of range. So if you're using cheap thin wire, you're not getting that distance.
Good catch. The copper thickness really matters. Okay, so getting the video to the patio is one thing, but controlling it is the other.
And this is where the remote IR feature comes in. This was the part of the documentation that really caught my eye.
Mine too.
Because HDMI is normally a one-way street, source to TV.
But this setup creates a kind of feedback loop. Let's look at example 2 in the notes here. You have a DVD player in the living room.
And a TV on the patio, maybe 35 feet away.
Right. You plug this little IR receiver into the setup on the patio. When you point your regular remote at the patio TV, the WolfPack sends that command.
Backward, through the HDMI cable itself.
Yeah. It utilizes the CEC wiring channel that's already inside the HDMI standard to pass those IR commands back to the source.
So you can pause the DVD player in the living room while you're standing outside. No need for a separate RF extender or some Bluetooth setup.
It simplifies the whole architecture, and it doesn't seem to compromise the bandwidth for the actual media either. The chipset still supports 1080p 3D.
And deep color at 36 bits. Plus the audio, it's passing through DTS HD and Dolby True HD.
And that is so important, because often with cheap splitters, the whole system defaults to the lowest common denominator.
Oh, right. So if the patio TV is just stereo, a dumb splitter might force your living room surround sound down to stereo too.
Exactly. This device seems to manage that ED'd handshake data smartly enough to avoid that problem.
Speaking of handshakes, we have to talk about the other acronym in the feature list here. CEC.
Ah, yes. Consumer Electronics Control.
The dream of the one remote.
Well, theoretically, yeah. CEC is the standard that's supposed to let your TV tell your Blu-ray player to turn on, or your receiver to adjust the volume.
And the WolfPack supports passing these signals through.
It does. But, and this is big, but looking at the industry notes we have here,
Yeah.
CEC is, well, it's messy.
It's the Wild West of standards, isn't it?
It really is. Every manufacturer implements it, but they all give it a different brand name, so you think it's a proprietary.
Like LG's Simple Link or...
Toshiba's CE Link, yeah.
Yeah.
And the documentation for this splitter even warns you. While it creates the physical bridge for these commands, it can't fix the software politics.
So some brands, like Sony, have historically restricted their CEC protocols to only talk to other Sony devices.
Precisely. So the hardware works. The WolfPack will carry the message, but the devices at either end might just refuse to understand it.
It's an interoperability issue, not a cable issue.
That's it, exactly. If you have a mixed brand ecosystem, that universal control might still be glitchy, even with this splitter doing its job perfectly.
Still, for a $25 component, it's doing a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, it's solving the physical distribution of high-def video and the return path for your remote.
It really transforms a passive setup into a basic networked one. You're effectively hardwiring your home without needing a professional installer.
It really highlights a bigger point about all our tech setups, doesn't it?
It really does.
We have the hardware to connect everything. We can send 1080p video 40 meters through a wall almost effortlessly. The physical barriers are basically gone.
That the software barriers remain. The whole CEC mess just shows that while the cables can connect us, the proprietary code, it's still trying to wall us in.
A battle for another day. Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.